1. Introduction. RAWSEP View. The United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only. For home building and furniture building. For just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable. Wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM2.5, and PM2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lungs, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the eco-design wood stove, and international convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP View. Purple air PM2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary. Episode 57 DDC, February 11th, 2025. U.S. inflation and price of eggs. EVs OK in Wisconsin Winters Drax halved. In episode 57 DDC 1, United States inflation picks up speed after Trump promised to rapidly bring down prices. 2. EVs OK in Wisconsin winters, but charging station expansion in Wisconsin has been halted by Trump policies. RAWSEP View. That heat pumps save the day again, as heat pumps can be used to heat homes, but also heat pumps can be used to heat EV interior cabins in the winter. Most EVs built in the last several years heat and cool their cabins with heat pumps and energy-efficient technology that uses electricity to transfer heat from colder to warmer areas. Most newer electric vehicles also have preconditioning, a setting to warm batteries to an ideal temperature before charging starts. 4. United States heat pump rebates. 5. California wood burning ban. 6. Florida heat pumps. 7. Illinois heat pumps. 8. Maryland heat pumps. 9. Michigan. Detroit faces air quality challenge under new PM2.5 standard. 11. Oklahoma. 12. Tennessee heat pumps. 13. Washington. Are WA Democrats really considering a ban on wood burning fireplaces and wood stoves? 14. United Kingdom heat pumps. 14. through 14. Drax subsidies continue, but have through 2031. 15. Germany heat pumps. 16. India high PM2.5 levels in Delhi. 17. Thailand battles air pollution in Bangkok with dry ice, but does it work? 18. PM2.5 and human health main content. 1. United States inflation picks up speed after Trump promised to rapidly bring down prices. Consumer price index rose by 3% in January as president has yet to fulfill pledge of tackling high cost of living. Wet excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The Guardian. February 12, 2025. Inflation ticked higher in the U.S. in January as Donald Trump returned to office with a pledge to rapidly reduce prices. The consumer price index rose by 3% last month, up slightly from December 2024 annualized 29% reading. The closely watched index rose 5% on a month-to-month basis, stronger than the 3% forecast by economists. The so-called core index, which strips out volatile food and energy prices, rose from an annualized rate of 32% in December to 33% in January. Data on Wednesday appeared to rattle investors, with Wall Street coming under pressure. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average were each down by about 1% after New York opened for trading. The 10-year U.S. Treasury yield, a key barometer for U.S. economic expectations, rose to about 4,629%. RAWSEP View of looking back to 2021. Inflation soared across much of the world 3 years ago as the pandemic continued to distort the global economy and supply chains. It peaked at 91% in the U.S., its highest level in a generation, while price growth has since fallen dramatically. Consumer prices have remained high, challenging perceptions of an economy which on paper has proved remarkably resilient. A dozen eggs on a shelf for $939. RAWSEP View of the effect of bird flu on egg prices. U.S. egg prices are expected to climb further as farmers strained by bird flu outbreak. RAWSEP View of what Trump wishes the Fed would do. The latest inflation data will heighten speculation as to how quickly policymakers at the U.S. Federal Reserve will cut interest rates, which they raised aggressively in an attempt to cool the largest economy in the world and reduce price growth. Minutes before the report on Wednesday was released, RAWSEP View that Trump is going ahead with tariffs. Although tariffs are expected to cause more inflation, Trump declared that the rates should be lowered by the Fed, a move he said would go hand in hand with his plan to impose steep tariffs on overseas imports. RAWSEP View of Trump blaming the previous administration for what is happening on his watch. Shortly after the data was published, he added, "Biden inflation up? Many economists have warned that Trump tariff strategy risks exacerbating inflation. RAWSEP View of what Trump promised in 2024 as millions of Americans struggled with the cost of living last year. Trump promised to take action on the campaign trail. Prices will come down, he declared during one speech. You just watch, they will come down, and they will come down fast. RAWSEP View of the excuse of difficulty Trump made in December 2024 and the Trump excuse blaming other countries. Trump made as of February 12, 2025. Since his election victory last November, however, Trump has appeared to soften his pledge. I would like to bring them down, he told Time magazine of prices in December. It is hard to bring things down once they are up, you know. It is very hard. Asked by Fox News when families will be able to feel prices going down this weekend, the president changed the subject and claimed other countries were taking advantage of the U.S. 2 EVs OK in Wisconsin Winters. Wisconsin Madison electric vehicles. Yes, EVs can handle. Madison Winters owners and mechanics say electric vehicles are increasingly popular in Wisconsin. RAWSEP View of the first woman in the story below. A woman climate journalist living in Madison used a $4,000 tax credit to buy a used 2021 Chevy Bolt 2 years ago. RAWSEP View of the second woman in the story below. A second woman consumer with a newer model is a Madison resident who works for a national clean energy trade association. She bought her 2024 Chevy Equinox in October, complete with a heat pump to warm the cabin and precondition the battery. She qualified for a tax credit that cut the purchase price by $7,500. The EPA estimates the range of her car at 319 miles. The second woman said she is getting something close to that estimate even in the winter. The second woman has no garage, so she runs an extension cord from her kitchen to charge her car outside. She has noticed little change to her electric bill since getting the car. When she needs a faster charge, she parks for several hours at one of the charging stations nearby, fully charging their costs less than $10, she said. RAWSEP View of the third woman in the story below. The third woman in the story is the assistant fleet superintendent for the city of Madison. Does not just have one EV, she has about 126 of them. Electric vehicles are part of the Madison, Wisconsin 1,400-piece fleet, from administrative cars to pickups for park rangers and a pair of trash and recycling trucks. Since buying its first EVs 7 years ago, the city has learned that it helps to park and charge EVs indoors to keep them warmer when charging, with a goal of using 100% renewable energy and releasing zero net carbon emissions by 2030. The city is looking to add more EVs. RAWSEP View of a man who owns an EV servicing shop. There is a Madison East Side shop dedicated exclusively to servicing electric and hybrid cars. In the 8 years since it opened, the owner has seen interest in EV surge. While some residents of Wisconsin and other northern states worry electric vehicles are not cut out for frigid winters, all the modern cars have ways to manage it properly, said the man who has been working on EVs and hybrids for 20 years. He said that in the Midwest, Madison had the highest concentration of hybrid owners back in the recent past, more than Chicago and more than Minneapolis. Those people are the same kinds of people who are moving into EVs now. As for concerns about EVs in winter, he said both gas-powered and electric cars get less efficient in cold winter weather. No matter the time of year, many people regularly see fuel efficiency numbers lower than the estimates provided by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Electric vehicles may have to work harder than gas-powered vehicles to heat the cabin when the weather is cold. In a gas engine, they are so inefficient, like 80% inefficient. You have all this extra heat from all the explosions, so you can get heat for free, whereas with an EV, all the heat comes from energy from the battery. RAWSEP View of the status of charging stations in Wisconsin today. Wisconsin businesses were set to add 53 more charging stations starting last year, but those plans are now on hold after the U.S. Department of Transportation announced last week that it is stopping the $5 billion program that would have given Wisconsin millions for the effort. RAWSEP View of statistics on how EVs can handle cold weather. Some electric vehicles may lose as much as 41% of their estimated range in the hottest and coldest conditions, cutting the distance the car can travel on a single charge by more than a third, according to a study by AAA. Other tests by consumer watchdogs have shown smaller drops, and the decline in efficiency varies widely between models. The U.S. Department of Energy estimates gas-powered vehicles are 10 to 20% less efficient at 20 degrees than 77 degrees, while hybrids are 30 to 34% less efficient. EVs tend to take longer to charge in colder weather as batteries charge less efficiently when the temperature is below freezing, but automakers have made changes that reduce these cold weather effects. RAWSEP View that heat pumps save the day. Again, as heat pumps can be used to heat homes, but also heat pumps can be used to heat EV interior cabins in the winter. Most EVs built in the last several years heat and cool their cabins with heat pumps, and energy-efficient technology that uses electricity to transfer heat from colder to warmer areas. Most newer electric vehicles also have preconditioning, a setting to warm batteries to an ideal temperature before charging starts. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity and relationship to residents. Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The Capital Times, February 12, 2025. By September last year, around 27,000 EVs were registered in the state, more than 3 times as many as in 2021. 2 Madison EV owners and a city official who oversees an electric vehicle fleet say they are pleased with their all-electric purchases. According to the EPA, transportation is the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, accounting for 28% of emissions in 2022. 3 World is a turnaround in sight for heat pump markets. Analysis IEA International Energy Agency heat pumps in this commentary refer to those that deliver heat directly to households and residential or commercial buildings for space heating and or for United States heat pump rebates. Considering an HVAC upgrade, you can collect an $8,000 rebate for a new system to cool down as energy costs rise and homeowners seek more efficient ways to heat and cool their homes. Heat pumps have become an increasingly attractive. United States geothermal heat pumps are crazy efficient. Should you get one? Yahoo! To put it in dollar terms, that means cutting the heating bill from an air source heat pump in half. That efficiency is what one parking over she has. United States here is how to collect $4,000 for a new breaker box before massive government incentives disappear. MSN, you can collect an $8,000 rebate for a new system to cool down heat pump. Dumpsters are wrong. I have no regrets. United States industrial heat pumps and the future of sustainability. Contractor magazine. Industrial heat pumps are not just solving problems, they are rewriting the energy efficiency rules. The genius of a hybrid solar tile plus heat pump. United States is your water heater on its last legs. An ultra-efficient replacement can slash your annual the cool down tax credit and a rebate for installing a heat pump water heater. The U.S. Department of Energy says this tax credit is valued at up to 30% of United States. 9 out of 10 homeowners surveyed who owned heat pumps would recommend business wire pump technology to others, according to Mitsubishi Electric Train HVAC US. United States. The Telegraph heat pump rebate programs. Is this heat pump the right size for your United States? You can Get $8,000 from the government to replace your energy-draining HVAC. The Cool Down the program covers several home upgrades with rebates reaching up to $8,000 for heat pumps that both heat and cool your home. You can receive up to 5 California wood burning ban extended Monday for much of SoCal. Odyssey. A ban on indoor and outdoor wood burning has been extended Monday for much of Southern California due to a forecast of high air pollution in the 6 Florida heat pumps. Kent Wimmer Home Energy Journey 4 years 4 heat pumps for the climate. Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. Kent Wimmer has 4 heat pumps in his home in Tallahassee, Florida, a heat pump HVAC, a heat pump water heater, a heat pump clothes dryer. 7 Illinois heat pumps. Why heat pump sales are heating up. Evanston Roundtable heat pump sound almost too good to be true. They make for healthier air indoors and outcut greenhouse gas emissions and can even lower energy. 8 Maryland heat pumps. Maryland study suggests design change to make heat pumps work better on frigid days. Maryland Today. University of Maryland. A new study in applied thermal engineering by researchers at the UMD Center for Environmental Energy Engineering CE finds that heat pump. 9 Michigan. Detroit faces air quality challenge under new PM2.5 standard. Planet. Detroit high fine particulate matter levels in the air. Drive Wayne and Kalamazoo counties to be redesignated as non-attainment areas under the federal. 10 New York. How to find a competent heat pump installer. Reviews by Wirecutter. The New York Times. Modern heat pumps can give homeowners more for less, creating more comfortable homes that use less energy and produce less pollution. Heat pumps are in areas with big heat pump rebates and incentives like most places. 11 Oklahoma State Department of Ecology clearing the air around wood stove legislation. My Edmonds News. Wood can be an inexpensive form of heat and many people simply enjoy a nice fire. RAWSEP View. Oklahoma State DEC is out of step with reality and out of step with the cleanest way to heat homes today. Heat pumps, which are now inexpensive if your state is offering heat pump rebates of up to $8,000 based on a sliding income scale. From the article, the downside of burning wood is that smoke can contribute to air pollution. 12 Tennessee heat pumps. Tennessee. Knoxville. Kent Wimmer Home Energy Journey 4 years 4 heat pumps for the climate. Southern Alliance for Clean Energy. Kent has a new washer and heat pump dryer set from Miele. Did you get any tax credits on your Tennessee TVA? Adjusts some home energy efficiency rebates in response to shifting demand. Chattanooga Times. Free Press. The agency chose to eliminate a $1,500 rebate for a variable capacity heat pump because it had specific stringent requirements and often required. 13A Washington. Are WA Democrats really considering a ban on wood-burning fireplaces and wood stoves? Washington clearing the air around wood stove legislation. Washington State Department of Ecology. A modern clean burning wood stove produces far less smoke and pollution than an older, less advanced model. Less pollution means fewer burn bans. And RAWSEP View. Just do not burn wood to begin with. Washington State Republicans are out of step with reality and out of step with the cleanest way to heat homes today. Heat pumps, which are now inexpensive if your state is offering heat pump rebates of up to $8,000 based on a sliding income scale. From the article, Yakima Herald. Senate Bill 5174. Requested by the department would ensure that new wood-burning devices, think wood stoves and fireplaces, cannot be installed. February 14, 2025. Scheduled for executive session in the Senate Committee on Environment, Energy, and Technology at 10:30 a.m. Subject to change. Summary of Bill 5174. Washington Clean Air Act. Several WCA references to solid fuel and solid fuel burning devices are replaced with wood and wood-burning devices, respectively. Federal law definitions for residential forced air furnace and residential hydronic heater are referenced and included in WCA statutes. Wood-burning device is defined as any device for burning wood or pellet fuel, including a wood stove, fireplace, masonry heater, residential forced air furnace, and residential hydronic heater. The definition of wood stove is amended to include certain devices burning wood or pellet fuel in residential wood heaters and to exclude coal-fired furnaces, coal stoves, and other listed devices now included in the broader definition of wood-burning device. Adopt rules to implement federal emission standards for new residential wood heaters and to implement the federal emission standards for new residential forced air furnaces and new residential hydronic heaters. Ecology may also adopt rules to establish and implement emission standards for masonry heaters, which may include incorporation of federal emission standards. If Ecology adopts these rules, the emission standards must be those in effect as of January 1st, 2025. Ecology may amend the rules to maintain consistency with federal emission standards unless it finds that the federal emission standards are less stringent or that the changes would adversely impact air quality. Ecology may adopt by rule a sell through provision allowing retailers to sell EPA-certified wood-burning devices in their inventory for up to 12 months after a device is removed from the Ecology certification list. Ecology may adopt additional certification procedures for wood-burning devices to ensure compliance with the adopted emission standards. Ecology may also adopt emission standards and other requirements for residential home heating devices burning solid fuels other than wood or pellet fuel, including devices burning coal and other non-gaseous and non-liquid fuels. The Ecology Authority to adopt by rule a program to determine whether a new wood-burning device complies with the emission standards and to approve the sale of compliant devices is amended to include new state certification requirements and a requirement to publish a list of compliant devices. Restrictions relating to wood-burning devices. A wood-burning device may not be installed in new or existing buildings unless the device meets the applicable emission standard and certification requirements adopted by Ecology, or sold, offered for sale, or knowingly advertised for sale in Washington to state residents that does not meet the statewide emission standards adopted by Ecology using an applicable test methodology adopted by the EPA. Air quality events and non-attainment areas. During certain air quality events, a person in a residence or business with an adequate source of heat without burning wood is restricted from burning wood in a wood-burning device unless the device is certified by Ecology. References to Oregon and EPA emission standards and certain pellet stoves are removed. The existing state law provision permitting the installation or repair of a certified device or replacement of a non-certified device with a certified device is amended to reference statewide emission standards and certification requirements. Ecology or a clean air agency may, after meeting existing statutory requirements, prohibit the use of pellet stoves in certain areas of non-attainment for particle pollution. Prohibition against burning certain materials. Coal is added to the list of items. 13B Washington heat pumps part of the solution. Moscow Pullman Daily News. Heat pumps are more efficient than gas or electric furnace systems, using about 1/3 the energy. They do that by transferring heat between cool and warm. 13C Washington Seattle. How to save money and energy with efficient appliances. 2025 update. Powerline Seattle Gov. Seattle Clean Heat Program offers rebates to Seattle renters and homeowners who switch from oil heating to efficient heat pumps through May 2025. 14A United Kingdom Heat Pumps Viessmann unveils ductless air-to-air heat pumps for residential light commercial applications. PV Magazine. The new heat pumps are claimed to be ideal for retrofits or additions where adding ductwork is costly or impractical, the manufacturer said in a 14B. Drax subsidies continue but have through 2031. UK have subsidies for Drax and says it must use 100% sustainable wood. North Yorkshire power plant has been criticized for burning wood pellets sourced from US and Canadian forests. Drax is the subsidy show that goes on and on RAWSEP View from the perspective of UK campaigners against air polluting wood burning. Greenpeace said continuing to subsidize biomass imports was a dirty compromise with past failures. Green campaigners had feared that ministers would award unrestricted subsidies to the power station, which has already received billions in subsidies despite strong concerns that burning trees to produce electricity is bad for the environment. Doug Parr, the policy director at Greenpeace UK, said continuing to subsidize huge biomass imports is not a step on the road to a cleaner future but a dirty compromise with past failures. Trees should be left to grow and not be burnt in a major subsidy-fueled bonfire. The UK commitment to Drax has become an albatross, a supposed asset that is looking more and more stranded as the energy market develops. The new criteria should hopefully limit the damage done both by restricting its operations and reforming its supply chain, but the government is still far too trusting of big polluters, asking for big subsidies to decarbonize. We have cheap, clean power sources available, and we should not be left to gamble on schemes like this anymore. RAWSEP View from the perspective of the UK government. Using economics to make an argument against continued subsidies of Drax wood burning, the Energy Minister Michael Shanks said in a statement, "We believe that subsidies, simply did not deliver a good enough deal for bill payers and enable Drax to make unacceptably large profits. This government will do whatever it takes to deliver energy security and protect bill payers now and into the future." RAWSEP View is that all wood burning, not just wood burning of ancient forests, is air polluting. But that is not the primary UK government argument against Drax wood burning. Under the new agreement, the company will have to switch to using 100% woody biomass from sustainable sources, up from the current level of 70%. The government threatens substantial penalties if Drax does not comply, the government statement said. Our central projections show that on the right terms and in a much more limited role than today, biomass generation at Drax is the lowest cost option, including when compared to gas-fired power stations for bill payers during this period. RAWSEP View is that all wood burning should be replaced by clean renewable energy such as wind and solar energy should be stored in batteries for use when winds are not blowing and sun is not shining. The UK government partially agrees with this. RAWSEP View when a UK government representative stated the government hopes to decarbonize the electricity grid by 2030. Meeting this target will require a large increase in renewable energy such as wind and solar, as well as projects that store energy for when there is insufficient wind or sun. The government is also turning to more nuclear power to achieve its carbon goals. RAWSEP View is that unfortunately the UK government has also announced that it is turning to more nuclear energy generation, which is likely to result in nuclear contamination from nuclear accidents since nuclear plants are vulnerable to predictable human error. Last week, Keir Starmer vowed to rip up the rules of the nuclear industry by allowing a new breed of mini reactors to be built for the first time in the UK. The move to encourage fresh investment in small modular reactors could allow new nuclear projects to spring up across England and Wales, not only on the 8 UK designated nuclear sites. From The Guardian article, excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Monday, February 10, 2025, the UK government has halved subsidies for the Drax power station and ordered it to use 100% sustainable wood. After sustained criticism over its business model, the large power plant in North Yorkshire would play a much more limited role in future, operating less than half as often as it currently does. The government said the government has agreed a new deal with the power producer that will have subsidies between 2027 and 2031, saying that Drax will provide power only when it is really needed. It estimates that this will save consumers £170 million a year. However, the company said it was targeting underlying profits of £100 million to £200 million a year over that period, and its shares rose almost 5% before easing slightly to a near 4% rise. The Drax, Britain's largest renewable power generator by output, has converted 4 coal units to use biomass and also runs hydro projects. Its plants account for about 6% of the UK electricity supply. The company shut its final coal plant after 50 years of coal-fired generation at the site near Selby in 2023. RAWSEP interjection: wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning. Last year, Drax agreed to pay £25 million after the energy industry regulator for Great Britain, Ofgem, found it had submitted inaccurate data on the sourcing of wood pellets. RAWSEP interjection: the sourcing of wood does not affect the amount of air-polluting PM2.5 generated by burning wood, whether it is wood from ancient trees or ordinary trees. 14C United Kingdom Drax power station did not properly disclose burning forest wood. BBC, a UK power station that has received billions of pounds in government subsidies, has failed more than once to report it burned wood from primary. 14D United Kingdom further subsidies to wood burning power plant deeply concerning. Yahoo Finance environmentalists have raised concerns over news that wood burning power station Drax will continue to receive subsidies, but welcomed a reduction in the independent but scaling back of payments to Drax in North Yorkshire has been welcomed by 14E United Kingdom. Keir Starmer defends shoveling more taxpayers' cash into scandal hit Drax wood burning. Daily Mail: it has been accused of burning wood from some of the most precious forests in the world, although it has said it is confident the biomass used is 14F United Kingdom new subsidies for Drax that have payments for burning wood for power. MSN new subsidies have been announced for wood burning power plant Drax, which the government said would have costs for consumers and improve 14G United Kingdom North Yorkshire market report: Drax powers up after Miliband subsidies deal. This is money. The Energy Secretary struck a deal with the FTSE 250 firm to provide fresh subsidies for its wood-burning biomass site in North Yorkshire. RAWSEP View from the perspective of UK campaigners against air-polluting wood burning. And while the rising share price of Drax will also please investors, campaigners reacted with fury. Doug Parr, policy director for environmental group Greenpeace UK, said Trees should be left to grow and not be burnt in a major subsidy-fueled bonfire. Excerpts edited by RAWSEP for brevity and clarity in relationship to residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. This is Money Market Report February 11th. 2025 shares in controversial power plant Drax made gains after Ed Miliband agreed to hand the company yet more taxpayers cash despite a blazing row over its environmental credentials. The Energy Secretary struck a deal with the FTSE 250 firm to provide fresh subsidies for its wood-burning biomass site in North Yorkshire, which produces around 5% of the UK electricity. The handouts were due to expire in 2027, but have now been extended to 2031. Drax shares jumped 38% or 24p to 659p. The power station, a former coal-fired plant, has received billions of pounds in subsidies because wood burning is classed as a source of renewable energy, but critics argue that the wood comes from forests that should be protected. Ministers yesterday said the plant is important to delivering a secure value for money power, but they conceded Drax cannot be allowed to operate in the way it has until now, or with the level of subsidy it received in the past, which enabled it to make unacceptably large profits. As such, the level of subsidy has been halved and stricter sustainability requirements have been brought in. Analysts at Morgan Stanley said the terms of the deal were attractive and more favorable than expected. 14H United Kingdom UK have subsidies for wood-burning power station barons. The UK government on Monday said it would have subsidies for the controversial Drax biomass power station that has come under fire for sustainability. 15 Germany heat pumps. This is how much heat pump owners really save. Heating cost survey shows results. YouTube die Technologiker warm pumpen Word Zuneman Beliter das Side Auk, ein, Umfrage MIT, 350 warm pumpen Besitzer von Avira. 16 India High PM2.5 levels in Delhi NCR, largely independent of Punjab, Haryana crop fires. Eureka alert. PM2.5 particulate matter less than 2.5 m in diameter, popularly known as PM2.5. These fine particles can be inhaled during human breathing. 17 Thailand battles air pollution in Bangkok with dry ice, but does it work? Planet Pulse YouTube tourist perspective on coping with PM2.5 pollution in Bangkok. Thai PBS World. 18 PM2.5 and carrying harmful substances. A PM2.5 spatiotemporal prediction model based on mixed graph convolutional GRU and Science Direct.com. Especially fine particulate matter PM2.5, due to its small size and large surface area, can carry various harmful substances deep into the PM2.5, and dietary changes are associated with an increase in air pollution-related health and nature. Ambient particulate matter less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter PM2.5 causes a heavy global health burden, accounting for 5 to 9 million premature deaths. PM2.5 and economic costs. Rising socio-economic costs of PM2.5 pollution and medical service mismatching. Nature. The harmful impact of fine particulate matter PM2.5 and liver damage. Study links low levels of PM2.5 exposure to liver damage. News. Medical exposure to PM2.5 can lead to oxidative stress, macrophage activation, and inflammatory cytokine release, all of which are implicated in DNA damage. PM2.5 air pollution effect on public health remains a pressing concern. Detrimental effects of such heat pump dryer. We received a rebate from the city of PM2.5 and VT, exploring the link between air pollution and VT. Hematology advisor. Particulate matter with a diameter of 2.5 micrometers or smaller. PM2.5, specifically one more than one-half of deaths related to air pollution have PM2.5 and wildfires. The influence of wildfire smoke on ambient PM2.5 chemical species concentrations in the ACS publications. American Chemical Society. Smoke PM2.5 originating from wildfires that destroyed structures has higher concentrations of NICU, ZNMN, and PB than smoke from wildfires that.
One introduction. RAWSEP View. The United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only for home building and furniture building. For just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen, and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM2.5, and PM2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the Eco-Design Wood Stove. International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP View. Purple air PM2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.